What's up, vets? You tell the VA you can't sleep, you're having nightmares, you've seen things you can't unsee, and they still deny your PTSD claim. How does that happen? Why is the VA still turning away veterans with obvious conditions and trauma? Let's talk about the truth behind those denials. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Military Insider Show. If you ever felt like the VA doesn't take mental health seriously, you're not imagining it. It's true. PTSD is one of the hardest claims to get approved, even though it's one of the most legitimate. Today, we're going to break down exactly why the VA keeps denying veterans with PTSD and what you can do to protect your claim. All right, first of all, we need to start off with the emotional reality, okay? PTSD is something you cannot x-ray or scan, okay? It's invisible, and that's part of the problem with the VA and this type of claims. But the VA, you need to remember this, the VA is built on evidence, paperwork, and measurable data. But PTSD doesn't always fit nearly into that system, okay? So even when you have the symptoms, the nightmares, the triggers, they want proof that fits their definition, okay? Now let's talk about the VA's burden of proof, okay? The biggest reason PTSD claim get denied is this: no verified stressor. That means the VA says they can confirm the event that caused your trauma. Maybe the records were lost, maybe it wasn't documented, maybe it happened off base. But if it's not in your service record, they will say they can verify it, okay? So that's one of the biggest burden of proof for this type of claims. Now let's talk about the CMP exam trap. Okay, the next roadblock is your CMP exam. You walk in, open up about your experiences, and the examiner's marks symptoms not considered with PTSD diagnosis. That one line right there can destroy your entire claim for PTSD, okay? Symptoms not consistent with PTSD diagnosis. That line right there, it will delete completely your claim for PTSD. Sometimes the examiner barely listens. Other times they misinterpret what you say, okay? You have to be detailed, specific, and consistent, not just emotional, okay? The VA looks for patterns in your medical note, not pain in your eyes, okay? So you need to be consistent, not emotional, okay? Now, the disconnect between veterans and the VA. Here's the harsh truth, okay? And I want you to listen very carefully. The VA system was not designed for the way trauma works. They want timelines, they want forms, and they want measurable impact, okay? But PTSD doesn't follow rules. You might have been fine for years, then it hits out of nowhere, out of the blue. But the VA looks at that and says, if it didn't show up right after service, it's not service connected, and that's completely wrong. But it's how their process work, okay? So listen up. The VA looks at all the information and said, if it didn't show up right after service, it is not service connected, and that's completely wrong, okay? But it's how the process works. There's no way around it, okay? Now, let's talk about how can you strengthen your PTSD, okay? Your PTSD claim. Here's how you can fight back smart. Get a nexus letter from a licensed psychologist or psychiatrist. It must connect your PTSD directly to your service with the phrase, listen up, as likely as not caused by service. That's the key phrase right there, as likely as not caused by service. Write a personal statement. Describe the event, how it affects you, and what daily life is like. Be real but specific, okay? Get buddy statements from anyone who served with you, can confirm the event or your behavior afterward. Document treatment history, okay? Every therapy session, prescription, or diagnosis builds up your credibility, all right? Appeal with new evidence. If denied, file a supplemental claim, not a brand new one. This is something that I've been hitting a lot in my last couple videos. That will keep your original effective date, okay? Submit a supplemental claim. Do not submit a brand new one, because that will keep your original effective date, okay? Submit a supplemental claim, all right? I'm gonna repeat that one more time. How to make your PTSD claim more powerful, and how you can strengthen your PTSD claim. Get a Nexus letter from a licensed psychologist or psych. It must connect your PTSD directly to your service with the phrase, as likely as not caused by service. Write a personal statement. That's number 2. Describe the event, how it affects you, and what daily life is like. Be real but specific. Number 3, get body statements from anyone who served with you and can confirm the event or your behavior, okay? Number 4, document treatment history. Every therapy session, prescriptions, diagnosis builds up your credibility. And last but not least, appeal with new evidence. I cannot stress this enough. Do not submit a new claim, okay? That will erase your effective date. You need to submit a supplemental claim, all right? The VAs, everybody knows the VA has a double standard, okay? Here's what makes this so frustrating. If you break your leg in service, they believe you, right? Because they can see it. But if your mind breaks from what you went through, they need 5 layers of proof. It's not fair, and until the VA starts treating mental health injuries like physical ones, veterans will keep getting denied. And this is something that the VA need to fix. They need to get around the system, or come up with a new diagnosis for PTSD as far as proof. If you have a veteran, giving them all what they need, statements, body statement, the document history, appealings, and the Nexus letter, and they still want to see more information. And this is very frustrating for veterans, okay? If you've been denied for PTSD, it's not the end, okay? Many veterans with their appeals after adding more evidence or getting a better exam. Don't let one denial make you think your experience doesn't matter, okay? The system is broken. Everybody knows that, but persistence works, okay? You shouldn't have to prove your pain to the people who promise to take care of you, okay? In this case, VA, but the VA, but until the VA changes, we've got to play the game smart, okay? With documentation, precision, and persistent, okay? We're not saying here we're gonna lie. All you gotta do is give them what they want so you can get take care of, okay? You're not weak, you're not broken, you just deserve what you earn, okay? If this message hit home, drop a comment below, share this content with another veteran who's still fighting for their PTSD claim. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys, your support. Make sure you hit that like, you hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next one. Stay safe.